Welcome to the Law Firm Marketing Minute, your source of internet marketing inspiration.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Law Firm Marketing Minute. I'm your host, John Henson, and good to meet everyone out at the Wisconsin Bar Convention this last week. Wisconsin is always nice. A little chilly, obviously, late October, but always nice to meet the fine people in Wisconsin. This week, wanted to talk to you about just kind of a basic marketing concept and just kind of how it's evolved over time, especially in the last probably 20 years or so. And that's just understanding where your audience is hanging out. In the past, it was a lot easier, right? Because your audience would likely be in a couple of places, especially when populations were a little bit more centralized. There wasn't as much going on. You could put up billboards along the main highway because you knew that the majority of your audience was going to travel past that point either to or from work every day on the way home, right? So you could do a lot of billboards. You could do a lot on buses. I still see a lot on buses, especially, inner city, downtown areas where the highest concentration of traffic is going to be. Get the buses rolling around, get your face and your phone number on there. Boom. It's pretty simple. Yellow pages, getting a giant ad in there. Back in the day when, yellow pages were a thing, everyone was going to get a copy. So you knew you could reach everyone. It's different now. It is so much different now. Obviously, we don't have yellow pages anymore. Maybe we do, but who gets them anymore? Billboards, I still see a lot, especially, I drove through Florida earlier this year and just so many lawyer billboards, so many. Even there were a couple of firms I saw that bought 4 or 5 billboards back to back to back right on the highway with, either the same kind of picture or a variant of it right on the highway, and you look, if you're in an area where that's where the majority of your audience is driving and the majority of your audience is going to see it every day, fine, go for it, especially if you've got room in the budget for it. I don't know that it's the most effective anymore, especially with all of the distractions that we have driving now, which sounds absolutely horrifying to say. But I mean, look, I know it's illegal, but people are still looking at their phones while they're driving. They're listening to music. They're listening to podcasts. They're engaging in other ways. They're probably talking on the phone. They're not really paying as much attention to billboards anymore as they might have when there wasn't that kind of distraction for them to look at while they're driving. Buses, it's a moving billboard at that point. So if you know the bus route and you feel confident that that's where people are going to be seeing it, fine. But it's still that same billboard concept. I don't think that people are going to be in a position to write down some sort of information to remember you by, so what does that mean for today? How do you show up where your audience is hanging out? And the truth is that you can show up on social media, and it could be in a variety of places. Facebook obviously is going to be the biggest one. That's where the majority of your consumers are still hanging out. They're still checking in on it. I don't believe these stories that come out. And I've seen a couple where, Facebook usage isn't what it was, but people are still checking in on it. And that's where, almost everybody has a Facebook profile, and you can create content there that's reaching your audience. LinkedIn, seeing a big surge, especially if you do a lot with, other businesses, business owners, professionals, stuff like that. LinkedIn is a great place to get your content out there, to nurture connections, nurture referral sources, and all that kind of good stuff. The absolute majority of people who are logging in consistently, who are using consistently, is going to be on Instagram and TikTok. And I know some of you shuddered when I said that, but it is the absolute truth. And I get it. The legal industry is very slow to adopt things, and TikTok is another example. It's not even near peak at this point, but man, everybody is on TikTok. Maybe they don't have an account, but they're watching videos. They have downloaded the app, and they're, because that's what I did. That's what a lot of people in this office did. They didn't have accounts, but they sure do watch all the videos that show up on the timeline, just endlessly scrolling. And that's where we are right now. And so if you can carve out space in Instagram's going to be a lot tougher. Especially for you. We've actually had a lot of success on Instagram because our audience has been slow to adopt it. So like, we're there and they're coming into it now, and they're finding our stuff and they're engaging other stuff. So we're having a lot of success there as a company. We're on TikTok. We're way out ahead of our audience on TikTok. So by the time our audience gets there, we're going to have a solid presence. But that's, your audience right now, they're in Instagram and they're in TikTok, and they're just scrolling through content. And it's a great way for you to get in front of your audience and to make yourself known and to just familiarize yourself with them, or allow your audience to familiarize themselves with you. And at the end of the day, it is also very important what kind of content you post. It should not be the same kind of billboard content. All right. Billboard content is just a hard call to action. And, social media is not the place for that. People aren't going to social media to get sold to. They're going to social media to A, be entertained. Okay. But B, they're looking to learn things. Shockingly enough, at least it's ironic to me, at least, because I feel like a lot of people have this sort of apathetic view towards continuing to learn new things once they get out of high school or college. But subliminally, subconsciously, I don't know that people realize it or not, but they are going to social media and they enjoy learning new things, whether they seek them out or not. And so I see all these creators on TikTok and Instagram talking about life hacks, and there's cooking shows, or not shows, but like short videos on how to cook something, and just little things like that people are coming across and they're learning. And so imagine your content is out there doing that same thing. You're showing up on their timeline like, hey, what happens if you get in a car accident? What should you do? And it's these thoughts that people aren't having naturally. No one's actively thinking about what they should be doing when they get in a car accident. It's one of those things that's like, it happens, and now it's like, oh God, what do I do? I have no idea, or it's what should be included in your will, or when should you get a trust, or what happens when you file for bankruptcy, or how do you start a business? What legal documents do you have to start a business? All that kind of stuff. And, a lot of it, might be in the back of people's minds. They might have it on their list to look at eventually and do their own research on. But if you can get out in front of them and get to them first, that puts you at a bigger advantage, because now you're going to be their trusted source of information. And then when the time comes for them to take action, you're going to be the first person that they think of and try to work with. And so that's where the opportunity lies, especially on TikTok. I'm going to be interested to see what the data says for next year. But when we did our 2022 trends report, 9% of law firms were on TikTok. That means 91% were not. So you have a huge opportunity there, and I will be interested to see if that number goes up for next year, because it's where your audience is hanging out. It's where they are looking for information. And if you can just provide that information, that gives you a leg up on your competitors. It helps you stand out with your competitors, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It really doesn't. You can take your phone out and answer very simple questions and explain very simple concepts in 30 to 60 seconds, and people will eat it up. It's honestly a lot easier than you might think. It's just a matter of setting aside the time to make those videos and hit post, and that's it. And that's where you're going to see a lot of value out of social media. It's how you're going to reach your audience. It's how you're going to find where they're hanging out. Right. Hope that was helpful. Hope that gives you some inspiration. If you'd like to talk about how to execute a kind of a strategy on TikTok, I'm happy to chat with you, happy to help give you some pointers and a system and a framework and whatever you might need in order to do that. Otherwise, feel free to reach out, John, John, at spotlightbranding.com. Or, you can reach out to us on social media, reach out to us through our website, whatever the case may be. And we're always happy to help. All right, that's it. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. Please visit lawfirmmarketingminute.com for more information. We'll see you next time.